Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We are going to go ahead and get started. If you haven't already done so, please join us in the chat and let us know where you're from. We'd love to meet new people and get to say hi to our friends. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm excited for today's webinar. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the Director of Sales for Untitled Systems. My name is Christina Villa, and we have Karen Titolo, the Director of IKS Academy, who will be presenting with me today. Thank you, Karen. We also have Karen Blotter monitoring the chat and Daria Hall, who are part of our support team. So feel free to ask any questions in the chat as they may arise, and they'll let us know. We can have a Q&A towards the end and answer any questions that may arise. So for those who do not know us, what is Untitled Systems? So Untitled Systems is a system designed to help nurture your leads all the way through the registration process. We are a lead management system who helps you stay organized and on track of your enrollment processes. At Untitled Systems, we believe that there's 5 key pillars in the lead management process, in the nurturing process for lead management. Those are capture, communicate, organize, engage, and analyze. So capture, you have to think, take a step back and think, what mediums am I allowing? What forms do I have out there to capture the leads so that I can nurture them and engage with them? Communicate. How are you communicating with your leads? Organization. It's key to success. We need to stay organized so things don't fall through the cracks and we stay on top of the prospective families into our school. Engagement as well. Engagement helps you keep at the top of your prospective lead's mind. As you're sending out reminders, as you're keeping engaged through various forms of communication and analyze, it's so important. We need to know the health of our business. We can take a step back and look through the health and see where our areas of opportunity are, where our growth is in order to move forward. So this webinar here that we're presenting today was developed by our IKS Academy. So IKS Academy's mission, I apologize. So IKS Academy's mission is a commitment to providing tools and resources for you to achieve a level of excellence in every aspect of operating your early childhood educational program. So as Untitled Systems was developed by early childhood educators, for early childhood educators, we evolved and IKS Academy was born to help you with your growth from our best practices. So Karen, let's get started. 11 beliefs that increase your personal positivity that we're so excited to share with everybody.
Thanks, Christina. I am very excited to have this opportunity to present today. So in my experience of working and managing childcare centers, this time of the year is so much fun for teachers, directors, owners of childcare. It's a time of the year when you're planning special activities for the children, for the parents, for the staff, and it's really just a great fun time of the year. But it's also a time of the year that can be extremely stressful. You're trying to plan those events. You're thinking of gifts to give people. And of course, in the past 2 years, we've been dealing with a pandemic. So we thought that we would base this webinar on our personal beliefs, our practices, and our experiences that have helped us cope with the stresses when we were walking in your shoes. Both Christina and I have been teachers, directors, district managers for childcare centers, so we know that the pressures that you're under. So that's really the basis for this presentation. So let's start off thinking about positive thinking. And it is just the practice of focusing on the good in a situation. But that doesn't mean that you ignore the reality and that you're making light of problems. It simply means that you approach the good and the bad in life with the expectation that things will go well and that you can handle it when they don't. So people with positive growth mindset are constantly trying to learn and to grow and to better themselves. They enjoy challenges and believe that their intelligence, that their talents, and that their basic abilities can be increased or enhanced through hard work and dedication and effort. So I just wanted to start off with a little bit of benefits of the positive thinking, research of positive thinking. So really having positive thinking really builds resilience. It's resilient people have lower rates of depression. Again, this is through research. They live longer and they're more satisfied with their lives. Positive thinking builds self-esteem. So having a positive growth mindset just makes you feel better about yourself. It also gives you, it improves your mental health. You're able to see things in a more positive light. And of course, it promotes happiness. So if we know that positive thinking is better for us, so then why don't we always do that? If we know that it's something that it makes us feel better, why don't we always do it? Well, it's really because of our core beliefs. It's those deeply embedded beliefs that are formed when we're children, and they form our reality now. And they're the reason that we behave the way that we do. The core beliefs are our most deeply held assumptions about ourselves, about the world, about other people. They can be positive, they can be negative, but they are these deep core beliefs. They're just firmly embedded in our thinking, and they significantly shape our reality and our behavior. So in fact, there's nothing really that matters more than our core beliefs. They're the way that we see ourselves in the world. We all have positive and negative core beliefs. Strong positive core beliefs give us the confidence and they help us navigate the world. But negative core beliefs, they beat us down, and they're the root cause of our self-defeating or negative thoughts and behaviors. So core beliefs, they are like magnets. They attract evidence that makes them stronger, and they repel anything that challenges them. So our job is to work on developing positive, strong core beliefs that will help us navigate those negative times in our life. If we can do that, then we truly can nourish our minds, our heart, our body, our soul. And it is possible to change your core beliefs. But how do we do that? Well, it really is about changing your perspective. So thoughts become words. So positive thoughts become positive words, and words become actions. Positive words become positive actions, and then the actions really become habits. So when you have positive actions that you're doing, you can develop these positive habits that really are going to help you change your perspective and help you change your thinking to a positive growth mindset. So it's a simple process to change your thinking. When you put it in these 3 steps, difficult to do, but a simple process. So really think about how you can make your thoughts become positive. And that's really, we do have a couple tips on how really to do that. But I believe that the benefit of in childcare, that the benefit of positive thinking is so important. And I think that in our profession, maybe more than any other profession, because we are the role models. We're the role models for the children, for the teachers, for the people that are around us. And they look to us for guidance. They look to us for direction on how to handle these different situations. So we really owe it to to the people around us, to the children, to have this positive growth mindset. So let's look at some of those beliefs that we've really chosen to, talk a little bit about in today's presentation. So the first thing is self-care first. And the truth is that we must fulfill our responsibilities to ourselves in order to serve others. That means that it's just critically important to focus on ourselves as teachers, as managers, as leaders, as mothers, not in a selfish way, but in a way that makes us the best that we can be, so that we can be the best for the people around us, for the kids, for just the people around us. And we need to protect our spirit, our belief, our emotions, our bodies, and learn to care for ourselves so that we can care for each other, not with a resentful heart, but with a joyous heart that really this is what we want to do. So recently I was on an airplane. I went to my nephew's wedding, and everyone has heard the flight attendant go over the safety precautions. Secure your oxygen mask before helping anyone else. And we've heard it so many times, and it really struck me that as educators, as mothers, as managers, we never do that. We hardly ever secure our oxygen mask first. And really, we're of no use to anyone around us if we're passed out because we don't have any oxygen. And so if we're passed out because we don't have any oxygen, so we literally work against ourselves, and ultimately we're accomplishing much less. We're tired, we're negative. We spend time complaining. We actually work longer hours and spend time away from the people that we want to be with, our loved ones. We feel guilty, and it is what leads to burnout. So making time for yourself and caring for yourself is one way to lower the stress at this time of the year. And really, it's one way to lower stress at every time of the year. So we need to just remember the mantra: self-care first, and then teaching second. So I think you would agree with that, wouldn't you, Christina?
100%. I remember when I was in the classroom as a teacher, even as a director, there was times where the days are hectic. Maybe your assistant teacher called out, or you're the assistant and the lead called out, and now you're scrambling and it's the stressful time period, or you're the director and everything that could have gone wrong that day has gone wrong. But if you take a step back, if you are doing the self-care, you can get yourself in that positive mindset. I like to talk about the growth mindset. I believe in that 100%, where it's, okay, all of this is happening, but where's the positive? And then you start knocking things off your list that way. It's, okay, I can see somebody's strength that can help this assistant as a lead for the day. Or, yes, you know what? The day our staffing is crazy, the cook is out, maybe we're gonna have a fun day. We're gonna do a large music and movement activity, and just look at the positive in a negative situation. There's always gonna be a positive. And taking time for yourself is what we need to be able to think like that. So
right.
Extremely important.
Absolutely. So I think practicing gratitude is really one way to train your brain to focus on the positive. When we express gratitude, we feel better. We feel thankful for the people and the things and the experiences that we have. And when we're grateful for the little things in our day-to-day lives, we find more meaning and satisfaction in our lives. My personal routine is to make my first thought every morning to be one of gratitude. My previous practice was, as soon as my eyes were open, before I really had any thoughts in the morning, I would reach for my phone. And when I started my day like that, all I brought into my day was negativity. I just rushed in. I was angry. I was resentful at any teacher who had called in sick. whatever disaster there was at the moment, I started my day like that and I continued my day like that. And that was not helpful to me at all. So when I start my day with gratitude and I make the first thoughts that I have in the morning be, hey, thank you for this day. And you take that time to think about the things that you're grateful for. You can relax and you can set the stage for a positive day. And really, you have a much happier day. So the more that you appreciate just what you have, your circumstances, your relationships, they really can flourish. They can grow because you have this positive growth mindset.
And Karen, just to give some feedback on waking up, with gratitude every morning, something that I learned a while back through therapies and different things, and everyone has their own beliefs, but is the mirror work. And if you practice the mirror work where you're looking at yourself every morning, whether it's you're brushing your teeth or you're getting ready for the day, and speak to yourself about what you're thankful for, visually look at yourself and say, I am thankful I am getting ready for work today. I am thankful for this house that I live in. Whatever you're thankful for, and you practice that gratitude by looking at yourself, you really believe it. You start to believe in everything you're saying to yourself, and it gives you that piece of confidence, and it really helps your well-being. It's part of self-care, and it does improve the quality of life. And you just starting that day off with gratitude makes the whole day much better.
Yeah, I agree. So, as women, one thing that happens to us from a very young age, we really get the message in many, many different ways that everyone should like us all of the time. And if they don't, there's not something wrong with them, but there's something wrong with us. And of course, that isn't true. Nobody has to like us. It's not possible for everybody to like us. And I think in childcare, this is the same thing. We try so hard to get everyone to like us, and we get hurt when we run into somebody who doesn't like us. So we need our co-teachers to like us. But the truth is that, as early childhood educators, we're really here for one purpose, and that really is the benefit of the children. So teachers need to get along with each other for the children. We need to treat each other with respect for the children. Everybody doesn't have to like everyone, but we do need to make sure that we are working together for the children, and really stop comparing yourself to others or thinking that it's important that everybody like us, because it really is hindering us from developing a positive growth mindset. If you keep focusing on how you grow and stop worrying about what other things think, it's simple. Again, some people like different things. Some people don't like chocolate. I know, it's a crazy thing. I can't even imagine it, but some people don't like chocolate. So we all have a right to our own preferences. But guess what? I didn't wonder if there was something wrong with the chocolate because there was one person who said, hey, I don't like chocolate. So, it's kind of like, why do we do this to ourselves? We don't need to like everything. And it's really not even about, us. It's about the other person. So I think really finding that place where we can love ourselves is an important thing.
Perfect. So our next belief is mistakes are learning opportunities. So everyone makes mistakes. We've all made them. It's inevitable. We're human. It's part of the learning process of life. But mistakes don't always have to be bad. And I preach this all the time. But the human reaction, and it's engraved in us, is that making a mistake is usually a bad one. If you're like me, I kind of am a little bit of a perfectionist, and I beat myself up over making a careless mistake. I like to strive for perfection. I hate to disappoint people. I'm a really big nurture and people person. But in reality, everyone makes mistakes. You replay everything in your head and you're trying to figure out where it went wrong. In the end, you have to live with what you did. If you're lucky enough, the mistake can be fixed. You grow from the mistakes. They're life lessons. Nobody's perfect. Nobody. We're only human. And realizing that making mistakes is key to helping you live a happier life. It's part of your growth. It helps you with your growth. It helps you with your success. So sometimes when we take a deep breath, if we're making a mistake, we take a deep breath and overcome it. Say, what could I have done differently? Learn from it. Don't drag yourself down. I always call mistakes opportunities. When we fail at something, oh, it's just an opportunity for my growth. Your mistake doesn't define you. It doesn't make you the worst person in the world. It simply just, again, means that you're human and you're going to grow from that. We all learn from our failure. Hopefully we all learn from our failure. You may experience moments where you're not reaching your milestones and you say, I keep messing up. I keep messing up. Well, take a step back, analyze where you're making those mistakes and restructure it a little, change that road, go a different path. But remember, that's how we grow. Failures aren't failures, they're opportunities. You can learn valuable lessons from everything you do. And you learn that being flexible about your goals or the plan or the activity we're doing with that growth can lead to a happier life. Now, we're all teachers, we're all educators. We work in the early childhood field. When a student makes a mistake, we don't make them feel bad about it. We grow, we teach them. How could they have done that different? How could they have, cut that piece of paper differently? Or how could they have done that math problem differently to get to where they were going? Or maybe they were doing a measurement activity and they made a mistake. They put the salt instead of the sugar or whatever it may have done, and it messed up the whole entire experiment. Do we make them feel bad for it? No, because that's not best practice. We're teaching them growth mindset. So why, instead of how we lift them up, how we lift up our students in our building, we need to do that for ourselves. Mistakes are just learning opportunities. And if you remember that, all those mistakes that we make are just opportunities for growth and learning.
And I think, Christina, that it's true. We need to focus on what we can control. So the problem is that caring about things that you can't control takes your time. It zaps your energy. It keeps you from working on the things that you really can control. So to reduce our stress and start leading this happier life, we need to let go and stop caring about those things that we really can't control. You can't control what other people think or do, or what happened in the past. Those are things that you can't control. And you just need to let those things roll off. Let those things go let it go, as the song says. So you can only control what you can control, which is yourself, your own behavior. And that you have to realize that you will survive if things are different than you want them to be, and that you can accept that things that are the way that they are, and you can accept people the way that they are, and you can accept yourself the way that you are. And there's really no reason to get upset or to worry about things that we can't change. And again, as educators, this is what we teach our children. This is what we're trying to get across to our children through that growth mindset and that positive growth mindset. And again, we forget to do that for ourselves. We try to control even what our children are doing, or our co-teachers, or whatever else. And we can't, we have to remember that, hey, don't worry, be happy.
I like that. Don't worry, be happy. We should have had that song as the background.
We should have. Yeah, definitely.
So number 6, being optimistic. Now, I know it can be difficult to stay positive when we're in a large, urgent situation where it looks like the world is falling around us. We don't see an end, correct? Yeah. But if we just take a step back and we look on the bright side and focus on the positives, we can stay resilient. And remember, resiliency is what we need, as Karen spoke about it before. resiliency and staying focused. It's going to give us that motivation, that strength. We need a break or a change in our routine. That could be an opportunity. So we learn new skills. Maybe an example with my own work is Excel. Excel for me was not an area of strength. It was a big area of opportunity. But with time, I am learning new skills to work with Excel spreadsheets because I was not going to let Excel beat me. I needed to be optimistic to get over that little trouble I was having with Excel. You can work with different colleagues. So Karen Blotter is an excellent Excel guru. And so sometimes she and I have to collaborate. So when you work with different colleagues, you can be optimistic, work together, maybe new clients. Maybe you're ordering product and you unfortunately have run into a situation with a supplier, and now you found a supplier who is going to give you all the product you need. I can change. I don't have to be a certain way because this is what I've known up to this moment, correct? What I've known up to this moment is a roadblock, but it doesn't mean I have to stay there. I can knock it down. Every day is a new day. It's silly to think that I can't help being the way I am. Of course you can. Everyone can change. Everyone can grow. It's saying you can't teach an old dog new tricks. That's not true, because I'm not as young as some of these new directors, but I'm willing to learn, and I want to learn, and I want to grow. So you can decide to be positive, or you can just go on living the way you are. You can stay stuck. That's your choice. Right. But we encourage you to be optimistic and keep your growth in this negative world with so much going on. There's so much chaos right now. Keep your growth. Keep being optimistic. Make positive decisions and choose to live like that every single day. When you cultivate positivity with yourself, say something positive once a day. Give somebody positive feedback. I always like to, when I'm talking to somebody, oh, I love the way you do this. Even if it's just the color of their hair, their outfit, the way they said something, anything. Go ahead and just share something positive to one person a day and see how that even helps you. At work, you can compliment someone about a good question raised in an email or points that they brought up in an important meeting. At home, praise your child. Praise your significant other. I know sometimes we get in this monotonous, our day-to-day life at home, but give your child that recognition. Give your significant other that recognition. You're going to see a smile on their face. It's going to make them have a positive thought for a second, and then it's a trickle effect. Something I like to always talk about in being optimistic is educating yourself, but not like educating yourself in school and going to school and having, all these degrees. It's attend these webinars. What can you do for your self-care? Educate yourself on different formats, not just being optimistic. Again, turn every bad situation into a great positive one.
Right. And you know what, Christina, as you're talking, how am I feeling? I'm feeling positive. I'm feeling good because you're optimistic and you're bringing that good vibe to me, just as a person who's, listening. So I think that, it is extremely important just to, to do that. One really bad habit that we have, personally, I have this really bad habit, is downplaying our successes and not fully appreciating our wins. We, for example, we're going to say, oh, you know what? It's not a big deal. Anyone can do that. And really what happens that these phrases, they minimize our successes to little small successes. And what we really should be doing is celebrating these little small successes. It's these little small successes that we put together and that make us feel better about ourselves. So, there's no point in us, continuing to downplay or, oh, anyone could have done that. We need to make that so that we are, celebrating those successes. And by doing that, you really are going to make yourself feel better. You're going to be able to just make sure that you are waking with that positive feeling. So I think that, another common thing that most people in childcare do is this. And because we want to be team players, we want to work well with others, and we just don't take credit. And we minimize it, we downplay it. And really, what is it? This is a form of negative self-talk. And when, where we believe, hey, we're never good enough. So, we need to be humble, and we need to be gracious, and say thank you when somebody compliments us. We don't need to brag or to take credit, for our wins in a boisterous way, but by stopping to minimize our thinking on our mistakes or things that we've done well, it makes our heart feel better. Mm-hmm. So.
There we go.
All right.
So all or nothing thinking, that needs to stop. All or nothing thinking is when you view a good situation, or when you view any situation, and you can view it as all good or all bad. There's another tough negative thinking to overcome. There's always room for improvement. Just because you failed at your first attempt doesn't mean that you give up 100%. No, we can take a step back and we try to reevaluate. Like I said before, when we hit a roadblock, how do I get past it? Instead of hitting that roadblock and giving up. We don't want to do any of that all or nothing thinking anymore. Be careful not to start thinking that you're a complete failure just because you're not a complete success in all the ways you hope to be. Be thankful. Part of that mirror talk, part of that self-care is gratitude, correct? So be happy where you are. You might have envisioned yourself in a different place. Oh, by 35, I wanted to be XYZ and have ABC. Well, guess what? I'm not there. Doesn't mean I failed at life. Doesn't mean I'm going to give up. Just means you win some and you lose some. It's life. You have to see your success and where you are. Your thoughts are going to govern the success of your interpersonal interactions. Your thoughts are the headlights and illuminating your path into the darkness. So no more hitting that roadblock and giving up. Hit that roadblock, get your headlights illuminating, and go around and find your new path. And you're going to feel so good. We don't give up. We won't let you give up. Just contact one of us. We'll be there for you.
That's true.
All right. So the next belief, I apologize. The next belief is, again, one of my favorites. I can't talk about this enough. And it's seeing challenges as opportunities, our mistakes as opportunities, a challenge as opportunities. We all love a good challenge. I should say we all. I love a good challenge. I know a lot of my colleagues like a good challenge. We're always up for them. So replace the word failing with learning. And it's that mistake with learning. How could I have gotten there? It's important to try. How am I going to figure this out? What do I need to do to face this? Even though I'm going to be faced with difficult tasks along the road, it's better to try to avoid them. Avoiding a task does not give me any opportunities for success or joy, but trying does. So I never give up. I might just have learned with experience that I'm not going to take a certain path into an opportunity, into it. We're not going to see a challenge into an opportunity. I know my strengths. I might know my colleagues' strengths. We're going to collaborate and grow through that. So things worth having are worth the effort. So maybe you're a teacher and you want to go back to school and you want to be a director. You see your end goal as being in management. Or maybe you are in management and your end goal is to own your own center one day. Well, how are those? So we might not be able to do everything, correct? But maybe you can work step by step to get there. As you come to recognize that failing is just a new way of learning, you're going to stop being afraid of it. I promise. I've failed a million times. Failed a million times. We've gotten up a million times. And we're here. Karen as well. Karen, we fail.
Absolutely.
Sure. But by embracing our failures, our mistakes, and taking those as opportunities to learn, we continue to grow. You'll be on your way to understanding what a growth mindset is. And it's really a great way of thinking. It's a great way to collaborate with your colleagues. It's wonderful to teach the students in your classrooms about it. Growth mindset, you're going to see them progress. Where if you give them, that challenging puzzle, they don't get frustrated and say, I don't want to do this puzzle. It's too hard for me. Teach them. It might be hard, but how can we do it? What ways can we make this puzzle a little easier for you to do? Are we going to start with the ends? Are we going to start with the corners? What can we do to make that hard puzzle broken into tasks and see it as an easier road ahead? So now we're going to talk about another belief.
Perfect. And Christina, you mentioned this, a little bit earlier, and that really is to keep growing and learning. And it doesn't have to be anything that's formal, like you've gone back to school. It certainly can be that you've gone back to school. That's a wonderful goal for people to have, but you really want to make a habit to continue to grow and to learn in whatever way you want to be able to do that. Maybe it's broadening your interests. As I've gotten older, my interests have changed. Gardening has become a hugely fun, exciting thing for me to be able to do. And the thing about gardening in Las Vegas is that it's difficult. And so it's been a learning opportunity really for me to be able to figure out what kind of soil I need to use, or the light. The light in Las Vegas is very hot and it's very bright, and you have to shade some plants. There are plants that love and enjoy the hot sun, but it's really keep growing and learning as your interests change, as you change. It's the way that keeps us fresh. It keeps us alive. It keeps us young. It keeps us, all of that. And there is a point to really understand that, it is natural for us to outgrow things. Sometimes we outgrow our job. Again, as early childhood educators, I think sometimes we stay in places or with people as women maybe that are not good for us, and that it becomes a depressing, stagnant situation really for us. And we need to be able to, hey, let's improve ourselves. Let's keep growing. Let's keep learning. Let me keep challenging myself in, whatever way. Another thing for me is that I've always had small dogs. So I had a little a Papillon dog who's at his highest weight. He weighed 6.8 pounds. But I got a German Shepherd. I actually have 2 German Shepherds. So it has been a real learning experience for me by just living this life with these 2 German Shepherds. And I'm constantly just researching on the internet videos that have to do really with German Shepherds, and so that I can learn to train them, because they can be intimidating to other people. So they need to make sure that they're trained very different than a little dog, which anybody could pick up and nobody's afraid of. So I think that, for us to, what we need to be able to do is to keep this mindset, this positive growth mindset that we are, continually growing, changing, developing, learning, and seek out those opportunities that really get us to a place that we really want to be. Sometimes it's meeting with people who are where you want to be. That's a great way to grow, by just emulating or copying, in a way, some of their ideas and the things that they do. Really helps you to be able to grow yourself.
Yeah, networking is such a great way of growth. I mean, like you said, it's not just about sitting in a classroom, but if I network with people who are where I want to be, like you just said, I'm going to learn from them. I'm going to see some traits they have. I'm going to see how they communicate, different traits that I might say, oh, this is going to help me in growth. This is going to help me achieve that next level and so forth. So it definitely always expanding, always growing, always learning. I love it. I love to research. I love to read books. I like to attend webinars like the one we're hosting now, because you get to see so many different perspectives, so many different views, and just grow your knowledge that way. And then you can share it with others. It trickles. It's that trickle effect of like the growth mindset. So if I learned a skill, maybe I'm going to teach it to my assistant and she's going to teach it to someone else and so forth. And now you're sharing your wealth of knowledge with everyone.
Right. Yeah. It's extremely important. And I think, our last tip here is again, one of my favorites. And that really is that we need to celebrate, but more than that, we need to savor these good moments. So, too often we just let good moments pass without really celebrating them. Maybe somebody gave you a gift, or, or simple things. Somebody just makes you laugh. Somebody makes you laugh. Do you stop to notice and appreciate these little small things? Sometimes, not, but really savoring. And savoring just means that you're holding on to those good thoughts and emotions that we all have. And you can savor by holding on to your emotions, your feelings, really in a positive way. Mm-hmm. When you think about your experiences from the past and you savor them, you celebrate them, you are really doing the positive growth mindset that we've really, spent this webinar really talking about. So,
it's so good, Karen.
It really, it really does. So, for me, technology has been great, but what it did was it taught me to rush, because technology had to be faster and better, and maybe that wasn't, that really wasn't a great thing. So it's important to remember just the value of slowing down and savoring those good times. When you think about somebody, a wine connoisseur, drinking wine, they're not chugging that glass of wine. No, they're engaging all of their senses to really sip that and to savor that. And the same thing really with food. When you're sitting down to a meal, you want to eat slowly and savor each bite of it. So again, when we're in conversations, Christy and I tell you guys this all the time, is that time does go quickly, and I'm sure you're tired of hearing it, but
no, I love
it is about savoring those good moments with your children, because soon they'll be your age, and you don't have those anymore. So when you really sit down and you notice, or you talk to, and you really notice things about your children or the person that you're talking to, you pay attention to those little details and you commit those to your own memory. You can really savor that. Later you can bring those back up, and they bring joy to yourself in those moments when you think about your children and that. So it's about celebrating, but it's also about savoring so that you can bring that back to memory in the future of what has happened here on this day.
And you know what, Karen, something I think of when just listening to you speak was taking my mind back to when I was a teacher. You know, when you realize, correct, we are making a huge impact on the lives of all the students we touch, the lives we come across. And you ever have a moment where you're with a student and they would say, oh, Miss Christina, remember that one time where we had so much fun and we didn't do whatever it may have been during circle time, but we just stopped everything and we had a dance party. And that little moment is savored in that child's life as a great moment, as a great memory. That's what we need to do, is look at what's happening. Are we enjoying this? Let's maybe try to experience this again. Let's take it slow. Maybe that dance party is something we need to have in our classroom more often so they can think about those experiences. Like they were thinking about a positive experience in the past and it brought back joy into their life.
Yeah. So again, it makes you feel better. So, you know, a positive growth mindset really helps you love what you do. It gives you more energy, and everybody wants to be in a fun environment, a fun school, where people with positive mindsets just are creating this environment that's fun, it's energizing. It really makes a difference in how you feel, and really prevents you from being burnt out. It probably is not having a positive growth mindset is probably the biggest thing that gets us to be burnt out. So, you know, when we have this positive growth mindset, we are less likely to be, oh, I don't want to go there today, and become burnt out really with the job that we're doing. And, you know, nobody wants a person, a teacher who is burnt out, an employee who is burnt out, yourself who is burnt out. It makes working very, very difficult. So keeping this positive growth mindset really helps you love what you do.
And you know what? There are times, there's moments that as much self-care as we do, as much everything, we hit a moment in time where like, we need a pause. But that's where, okay, I'm going to pause. I'm going to listen to my body. I'm going to listen to what's happening. I'm going to take some self-care. I'm going to change my mindset. I'm going to see the good in all of this. I'm going to see the opportunities I have and keep going. So that burnout doesn't knock you down. And it's what did I call it before? The all or nothing, correct? The all or nothing thinking. We're not going to let the burnout, you know, knock us down, and we're going to leave our place of employment, or we're going to leave our family, or we're going to do whatever it may do. It's take a moment to pause. Yeah. Take a moment for that self-care. And that's going to, here you go, Karen.
So it just really, again, it reawakens that positivity, and you feel better about yourself. You're happier. And, you know, that's really what this whole webinar really has been about, is just find those things that work for you, that reawaken your positivity. Wow, you know, what can you do? And for me, again, that self-care, hugely important. We just are allowing everyone to beat us down at times, and we need to take care of ourselves, you know, first. So, you know, again, a quote from Buddha: "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." And I think that that's so true. So thanks.
It is awesome. So does anybody, I mean, I've enjoyed this topic. I feel like Karen and I truly have a passion for growth mindset, for positive thinking. We could probably talk for 8 hours on this topic if you let us, but we're limited to our 1 hour. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to add them into the chat. I've seen some engagement in there, and Karen Blotter has been able to help and support you all through the process. And if we don't have any, we're going to have this room open. We have a handout and a certificate, and we're going to have a recording of this webinar that we will send to you as soon as it's ready. So if you have no questions, please feel free to go on with your day, and you will have a handout and certificate sent to you by Monday. Karen also has added it as well. So
yes. Yeah. So I see just a lot of people, I know you just mentioned it, that can we receive a recording of this webinar? So yes, definitely we will get that out to you.
As soon as it's ready, we'll send it to everybody with a follow-up of the webinar. And please feel free to contact us if you have any questions. If anything arises where we can support you, we're here for you. Well, have a great day. Thank you for attending. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks. Bye-bye.